What's up, guys? Welcome back to Monthly Check-In here for February of 2025. Today I'm going to be talking about ways that you can show support to your peers, other independent artists, really just musicians in general that you believe in, and ways to do it for relatively no cost at all, and really just why is that so important to show that support to others. But before we get into that, let's start with my 3 monthly picks for February, songs that you should be checking out. First up this month, I'm highlighting an EP actually that came out in December by one of my favorite artists named Jayla Darden. Jayla is a songwriter, producer, and an artist as well. She actually hasn't dropped solo music in about 4 years, 3 or 4 years since this release, but this new EP is called Momentum. It dropped at the beginning of December. And I'm just a huge fan of her music. She had several EPs called the Idea EPs that came out, I think, around 2019, 2020. So I really started diving into her music around then. And I had been slowly waiting for her to come back and drop something else since she hadn't dropped music in several years. And this is pretty much her return project, and it's very much in line with what I would expect from Jayla as far as the production. She makes all of her own beats. Certain songs on this thing were just too good. Not Adding Up is probably my favorite song. Too Close as well. I think all the songs on this thing really help showcase, her sound and style, and obviously vocally, everything is super on point too. There's different topics in this thing. I think primarily a topic that stuck out to me was her talking about leaving Interscope, which was the label she was signed to the past few years. If I had to take a guess, I'd be willing to say that that's why she hasn't released music on her own in a few years, probably because the label was kind of holding her back from doing that. That's just a guess as a listener, just kind of using context clues. But I thought that was interesting that she mentioned that in a few of these songs about kind of leaving that behind and moving on as an independent artist. So shout out to her, and definitely go give this one a listen. I think it's, like I said, it kind of embodies everything that you'd expect from her sound. And if you hear this and then you go check out her back catalog, it's pretty much in the same vein. But this is a great EP and a great comeback for her, and I really hope she sticks around and starts releasing more music very soon. So definitely go give that one a listen. This next single is from Apollo Brown, one of my favorite producers, someone that I've been listening to now for the last probably 4 years at this point. He's always been, the last few years, one of my top streamed artists on either Apple Music or Spotify. I've always loved the way that Apollo really just invokes real emotion into his music, no matter what style he's going for. And this track is called Permanent Plans. It was actually a Lucy on the Hip Dozer compilation that came out in early December. And this is just another Apollo beat that just has me stuck. Like, I could just keep coming back to this over and over again. Very soulful chops, very melodic, and just the way that he pairs drums with the samples that he chops, to me, is just what makes him one of the best. So if you're into, old school hip hop style, but with a lot more emotion, and just kind of channeling those raw feelings, I think Apollo's production is definitely something you want to check out if you haven't already. He has a ton of albums out there and a lot of albums with artists, but this song is just the most recent track that he's dropped, just as a solo instrumental. So Permanent Plan's definitely been in rotation. Go check that one out. This final track is from producer Ninth Wonder's most recent project that he dropped in December, called Zion 10. And the track is called After All, featuring Seattle's Key and Will Jordan. This, to me, was the standout song. If you know anything about what Ninth Wonder's been doing the last probably 10 years now, he's been putting out these Zion tapes, at least one a year. And they're kind of like compilations of a lot of different instrumentals that were used on other people's songs, unheard and unreleased instrumentals, plus some different features that he puts on there as well. So this was one of those tracks. This whole project was like 30 songs long, but this one was like the standout one to me. I don't believe this song was on anybody else's project, because he had some of the other Seattle's Key records on here that had already been released, as solo releases with Seattle's Key, but this one was like a brand new record. And I just really love what Will Jordan did on the hook to this song. And obviously it's got that classic Ninth Wonder sound that I really enjoyed a lot. So yeah, I mean, to me, this one is the standout. Definitely go check out Zion 10. I really love when Ninth Wonder is able to put out those projects. And Zion 10 overall lives up to the previous releases from the Zion series. But After All is definitely the song I would recommend checking out first. So definitely go give that one a peek. And that leads us to the main topic of today's video, something that I think is super important, and that is showing support to other people's music, art, whatever. I'm gonna use music strictly because, I like to talk about supporting other independent artists, doing that sort of thing, but this can kind of apply to anything and anyone. Anybody that you believe in their work, just why it's so important to show that support and kind of reciprocate things. One thing that I've really learned from, educating myself in music marketing and things of that nature over the past 7-8 years is the importance of, being in a service business. I think everybody is kind of out for what can other people do for you and how can they support you. And that's great. It's great to get support. It's great to see people showing love to your art. And that's super important. And we need that to continue on. And we need people to consume our art to, even have careers, to be able to do it even as a passion, because that's really what we do it for at the end of the day. We do it for ourselves, but we do it for other people. So to get that love back is super cool. But I think a lot of people overlook the power of, supporting other people's music and what they're doing. And the whole thing that I've adopted over the past few years, especially on social media, is learning to support in any way I can. Whether that's, repost a song to my Instagram story. Like, I'm always looking for new tracks, new EPs, new projects from the people I'm connected with. And, just simple repost, tag the person, tell them, congrats on the release. And then other people will see that, you're following or that are following you. And then they might enjoy the music you reposted, and then bam, that person has a new fan. So it's just little things like that to be able to do that will really go a long way. I think another thing is that if you see that somebody is, creating like an opportunity, maybe they have a show coming up, maybe they have some type of charitable event that you can help promote, just promote that. Like, don't even wait for the person to come to you to say, hey, can you repost this or can you let people know about it? Like, just start doing that here and there. And I know it's tough to keep up with everybody. I can't keep up with everybody myself. And sometimes I feel a little bit guilty if I miss, showing support on somebody's stuff at that moment. But even if you don't get to it immediately, like, kind of put a goal in the back of your mind to say, I'm gonna support in some type of way very soon. You know what I mean? As long as it's not a time sensitive thing, especially with music, I think, as long as you post within a few weeks of it coming out, just say like, hey, I'm sorry I'm late on this, but everybody go give this a listen. For events, it's obviously a bit different because some of those things can be time sensitive. But little things like that, just keep those in mind. And the biggest thing of all is that it doesn't cost any money to do something like that, to just show that type of love and appreciation. And one thing I've always been told about when I do it is just how appreciative people really are of that, of just the little things. We overlook that. I think we always think we have to, spend a bunch of money to support somebody or do things like that. But it's not always the case because we have these tools on social media to be able to show love in that way. And that's another thing too for independent artists. If somebody is selling something, don't be afraid to invest in that if you're able to. That could be like the next big step of supporting, especially if you're a real fan of that person's work and you're a believer. The best way to show them that you do care is to make that investment. So go to a show. If they have a piece of merch, invest in the merchandise. Because at the end of the day, especially if they're an independent artist and they have like maybe a small team or no team at all, you got to realize that it costs a lot of money that they're investing in themselves to be able to even create those experiences for the fans. So the only way that they can keep going is to have that support in return. So just keep those things in mind. And as a fellow independent artist, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I do that with my own career, so why would I not, try to help other people where I can? It's just the right thing to do at the end of the day. And again, those experiences and merch and things of that nature, they don't cost a ton of money. You're not going to break the bank just to show a little bit of love here and there in those ways. So keep those things in mind. And to me, the biggest reason of all to do this is, like I said, because it's the right thing to do. Just being able to create a real community, and you show love to this person, they'll show love right back to you. That's usually the way it goes. Never support anybody by expecting something in return. But the way that I've seen it happen in my own career and my own journey is that the more I'm supporting other people just because I want to, the more things are coming back in my return. Opportunities, finances, all kinds of things. Building relationships, harnessing those relationships, making better music overall. Like, nothing but good things will come your way by just showing that genuine support for others. So that's really my message today. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but I think it's good to have that reminder every now and then. And I still got to remind myself now and then to just keep showing that support, keep showing up for others, and they'll do the same for you in return. A few updates before we get out of here. The first one is the biggest one that I've been pushing now for about a month, and that is the Unknown Advantage vinyls that I officially have, finally, after many, many months of waiting. They are officially available on my Bandcamp. I will leave the link in the description of this video. And I'll put these pictures right here so you can check out kind of what it looks like, more detailed photos. Shout out to my brother Tyler. He made these awesome photos right here, took these awesome photos for me. But we have been kind of pushing these the last few months. There's still plenty available on the store, so go check that out. The next thing is my second single from my upcoming project called When Love's the Motive. And it's going to be coming out on February 28th. It's called Solar Shores. And this is a very cool instrumental track. Honestly, it's one of my favorites, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys. Be on the lookout for that. The pre-save link will be in the description. And shout out to everybody who's been supporting Real Home, which was the first single from the project that just came out a few weeks ago. And all the other songs I dropped in January, because I dropped a good amount of stuff. So shout out to all you guys, but be on the lookout for that second single coming on the 28th, again, called Solar Shores. And finally, next month in March will be the 4th annual Proven Knowledge Women's Appreciation Month. I made a post at the beginning of the year talking about how I was in search of individuals to be involved in this project. I've already got some people on board, but if you happen to see this video really this week or the next couple weeks, feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, anthonychurch24@gmail.com, or get connected with me on social media, primarily Instagram, which is @AnthonyChurchMusic. And reach out to me if you want to get involved. We're going to be doing a Spotify playlist with 31 different songs of amazing women in music, some highlighted posts that will be allowing individuals to kind of highlight, what it means to be a woman in music. And we're going to be highlighting some charities, some ways to get involved and give back to these charities that are directly involved to benefit women in the music industry. It's a really cool thing, been doing it the last few years, and it's a great opportunity to help support and give back. So like I said, reach out to me on one of those means, or just leave a comment under this video and let me know that you want to be involved. And thanks to everybody who's been helping out so far, and I'm very excited to roll that out again here in March. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys on this edition of Monthly Check-In, but thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We'll be back next month in March with another awesome topic. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everything. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.